Once upon a time, there was a happy little lamb. She loved to romp and play in the pasture with the other lambs. Each day they ran and chased each other until they were tired. Then they fell asleep in the sunshine. Whenever they got hungry, they ran to their mothers and ate until their little tummies were too full to hold another drop. Little Lamb was happy and free and so content with life. One day, Favored Uncle came to the pasture and invited Little Lamb to go for a walk. Little Lamb was excited. She loved her uncle and could hardly wait to see where they would go. The sun was shining and the beautiful spring flowers were dancing in the breeze. Little Lamb was filled with the joy of life. The very thought of an adventure with Favored Uncle thrilled her little heart. Together they walked and walked. Before long, they were far away from the pasture and all the other lambs. It began to get dark, and Little Lamb felt scared. But there's no need to be afraid, she thought. Favored Uncle is strong and will take care of me. Little Lamb was feeling tired and wanted to stop and rest. But when they did, Favored Uncle began nuzzling Little Lamb in a way that made her feel very uncomfortable. A strange expression came over Uncle's face. It reminded Little Lamb of the wicked wolf. "What should I do?" wondered Little Lamb. "Favored Uncle is older and stronger than I am. Maybe I shouldn't sit so close to Favored Uncle." Finally, they began walking again. Just then, Little Lamb saw that they were approaching a dangerous cliff. "Please stop, Favored Uncle," she begged. She wished that they weren't so far away from the pasture. Suddenly, Favored Uncle grabbed Little Lamb and shoved her over the edge of the cliff. "Help!" screamed Little Lamb as she fell. But no one could hear her except Favored Uncle, who stood at the top of the cliff laughing. "Don't you ever tell anyone what happened," he yelled as he disappeared into the shadows. "If you do, you'll be sorry." As she tumbled down the rocky cliff, Little Lamb was knocked unconscious. She landed in a crumpled little heap on the mud and rocks below. When she awoke, she discovered that she was badly cut and bruised and had several broken ribs. Little Lamb felt terribly alone and afraid at the bottom of the cliff. The rocks were hard, the night was dark and cold. Her bruised and broken body hurt all over. She longed for her mother and father to find her and hug her, to lick her wounds, and to help her find the safety of the sheepfold. The next morning, Little Lamb was in so much pain she could hardly move. Then she heard someone walking nearby and began crying for help. "Baa! Baa!" As the sound of footsteps grew louder, Little Lamb could see a hired shepherd out taking his morning walk. "Oh, good," thought Little Lamb. "I won't have to sleep on these miserable rocks another night. Hired Shepherd will help me." But when Hired Shepherd came near, he didn't recognize Little Lamb. With her white wool all covered with dried blood and dirt, Little Lamb looked more like a rebellious black sheep. "You black sheep are all the same," yelled Hired Shepherd. "I'll teach you to run away from the flock. Here, take this." And he threw a big rock at Little Lamb, then turned and walked angrily away. Thud! The rock hit Little Lamb's leg and broke it. "Oh," cried Little Lamb as she began to sob. She felt so lost, so broken, and so alone. Not even hired shepherd will help me, she whimpered. Little Lamb cried and finally fell asleep. When she woke up, Little Lamb knew she must find water and food or she would die. But how can I walk with a broken, twisted leg, she thought. I don't even know where to go to find water or food. Again she heard the sound of footsteps nearby. Little Lamb held her breath, afraid to make the slightest noise. If only someone would help me instead of yelling at me and throwing rocks at me, she thought. The bushes rustled and parted. Little Lamb's eyes grew large. There stood Black Sheep. He too had a crooked leg. Although he had always been called a rebellious black sheep, Little Lamb could see that he wasn't really a black sheep at all. In fact, his wool was clean and white, and his eyes were gentle and kind. But Little Lamb was frightened. Her mother had warned her to stay away from Black Sheep. Black Sheep's eyes filled with tears. "You poor thing," he cried as he walked quickly over to Little Lamb. "Whatever happened to you?" Little Lamb started crying again, and as she tried to tell Black Sheep what had happened, she felt so weak from lack of food and water that she could hardly talk. As Little Lamb finished her story about favorite uncle, Black Sheep exclaimed, "You poor broken little lamb. That sounds like what happened to me. Here, you need some food and water. There's a gentle stream and a tiny hidden meadow just around the corner. Let me help you there." Tenderly, he nudged Little Lamb to her feet. When they reached the quiet stream, Little Lamb collapsed. Black Sheep gently licked Little Lamb's painful wounds, cleaning away the dried blood and dirt. He helped Little Lamb over to the water and nudged her mouth into the cool, clear stream. The broken little lamb was safe at last.
You're not alone, even when you feel you're on your own. You are loved in ways you will be shown. Your needs are known. You're not alone. And when you cry, you're just letting go of heartaches deep inside. Tomorrow there'll be sunshine in your sky and love close by. You're not alone. I know that it's not easy, but I know that it won't last. The one who loves you most of all will heal your broken past. You're not alone. You don't need to struggle on your own. Even when it's hard to find the words, your prayer is heard. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Little Lamb drank for several minutes, enjoying the refreshing taste of the cool water. Then she ate some of the tender green grass from the meadow. When her tummy was full, Little Lamb fell asleep in the sunshine. Black Sheep stayed close by where he could watch Little Lamb. When Little Lamb awoke, Black Sheep carefully examined all her wounds again, especially her broken leg. "This leg looks serious," said Black Sheep, with a worried frown on his face. "I think I'd better call the shepherd to help you." "No!" screamed Little Lamb. "Please don't call the shepherd. I don't ever want to see him again." "But, Little Lamb," Black Sheep replied, "your injuries are too serious for me to help you. You need the shepherd to come and clean your wounds and set your broken leg." "No, no!" cried Little Lamb, trembling with fear. "Please don't call the shepherd. I am afraid he will hurt me worse than he did the last time." Black Sheep looked puzzled. "What do you mean?" he asked tenderly. "What happened to you, Little Lamb?" With tears streaming down her face, Little Lamb recounted the story of what Hired Shepherd had done to her. "Oh, no," sighed Black Sheep. "Now I understand why you are so afraid of the shepherd and so angry with him." "But, Little Lamb," he continued, "it was one of the hired shepherds who hurt you. That shepherd is a close friend of Wicked Wolf. I'll never let him get near you again if I can help it," said Black Sheep. "The shepherd I want to call is Good Shepherd. Have you ever heard of him?" Little Lamb shook her head. "I thought all shepherds were the same," she sniffled. "No," replied Black Sheep. "Let me tell you about Good Shepherd. He is very kind. All of the sheep belong to him, and he loves them very much. He has many loving shepherds who are his friends. He is an expert at healing broken sheep. Will you let me call him?" Black Sheep pleaded. Trembling, Little Lamb nodded. "Okay," she replied. "If you think he will help me, go ahead and call him." Black Sheep knelt on the grass beside Little Lamb and called out for Good Shepherd. Before he had finished calling, Good Shepherd walked quickly into the meadow. He knelt beside Little Lamb and gathered her into his arms. Tenderly, he held Little Lamb close to his heart. Good Shepherd carefully examined Little Lamb's wounds. "Who did this to you, Little Lamb?" he asked, his face clouding with anger. "Favorite uncle and hired shepherd," whispered Little Lamb. Tears filled Good Shepherd's eyes. "I am so sorry," he replied. Gently, he began treating the painful wounds with soothing oil. "Little Lamb, the day is coming when I will make right the wrongs that have been done to you," promised Good Shepherd. "Wicked Wolf and his friends will be punished. There will be no more tears and pain." Silently, Little Lamb watched as Good Shepherd bandaged her wounds. Perhaps Black Sheep was right. Perhaps it was safe to trust this shepherd. When Good Shepherd examined Little Lamb's broken, twisted leg, he frowned. "In order for your leg to heal properly, I must fix it," he said. "It will hurt for a moment, Little Lamb, and I won't do it unless you want me to. Would you let me fix your leg?" Little Lamb was quiet for a moment. "Yes, Good Shepherd," she finally replied. "I want you to fix my leg." For a moment, Little Lamb thought she would die from the pain as Good Shepherd set her leg. But she kept her eyes on Good Shepherd, and soon it was all over. Her broken leg was now securely protected with a strong splint. Just then, Little Lamb noticed the ugly scars on the hands of Good Shepherd. "What happened to you?" she asked, her eyes widening with surprise. Black Sheep interrupted. "Oh, Little Lamb, haven't you heard the story about Good Shepherd? Once upon a time, he came to our pasture as a helpless little lamb like you and me. He came to save us from Wicked Wolf. While he was in our pasture, the cruel Wicked Wolf tried to destroy him. Good Shepherd became a broken little lamb just like us. That's why he knows how to help us," Black Sheep explained. "Aha," said Little Lamb thoughtfully. "Now I understand." A peaceful smile came over her face as she fell asleep beside Good Shepherd. Little Lamb rested for many days with Good Shepherd beside the quiet water in the green meadow. Soon she became strong and healthy again. Like Black Sheep, her leg was still a little crooked, but she could run and play once more. Her wool, which had been stained by the blood and dirt, had been washed white and clean by the Good Shepherd. Now Little Lamb wanted to go home to see her family. One night, Little Lamb told Black Sheep all about her plan to return home. And as she talked, a sad, faraway look filled Black Sheep's eyes. "What is it?" asked Little Lamb. "Let me tell you my story," replied Black Sheep. "Like you, I was pushed over the cliff by favorite uncle and badly injured." Little Lamb began crying as she listened, but Black Sheep continued with his story. "After I became well and strong again, I went home to my family, but my family didn't recognize me. Instead of welcoming me home with joy, they threw rocks at me and chased me away. They told everyone that I was a rebellious Black Sheep and must be avoided. They did not understand that I was just a broken little lamb whose wool had been stained by blood and dirt. They did not understand that someone who should have loved me had hurt me so badly." As Black Sheep finished his story, Little Lamb blurted out, "Oh, Black Sheep, that's terrible." Now Little Lamb could understand her friend's pain. Gently, she gave Black Sheep a big hug. Anxious to hear the rest of the story, Little Lamb exclaimed, "But what did you do? Where did you go? How did you survive?" "It was Good Shepherd," replied Black Sheep. "He never left me, and he never stopped loving me. It didn't matter to him that my leg was crooked or that my wool was stained. He loved me as his precious little lamb."
Patiently he watches me and oversees my way, attending me unendingly. The shepherd is always right beside. He gently guides to green and cooling shade. He bids me come and follow
Little Lamb was quiet for a long time as she thought about Black Sheep and Good Shepherd. Finally she spoke. "You know, Black Sheep, I want to go home and tell my family about Good Shepherd and how much he loves us. No one has ever loved me like that before," she said thoughtfully. Just then there was a faint cry off in the distance. "Baa, baa." It sounded like a lamb in trouble. So together Little Lamb and Black Sheep raced across the meadow and into the woods to help another broken little lamb who needed the Good Shepherd.
Good Shepherd, where are you? My heart is broken, I need you. Broken and bleeding, I come to you. You have been broken and bleeding too. You feel my pain, my grief and loss. You carried it all with your